Guys, good to see you. Welcome to the CineBoiz podcast, part of the Cork Bats podcast network. If you don't know what Cork Bats is, be sure to follow them on social media at Cork Bats on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Cork Bats on YouTube, and visit corkbats.com. And we are there. You got to be quick on the draw with the song, because there's no way to just like let it just play once. It just repeats. I'm sure there's a way to fix it, but anyways, we are the CineBoiz, the movie, TV, gaming branch of Cork Bats. Keep up with us on social media at CineBoiz on Twitter and Instagram, and of course, we're a podcast, so please be sure to rate, review, subscribe, share with friends. We want to grow. We want to get big. We want to make it. And that requires help. So just maybe think about sharing. Say, hey, I found this movie podcast. It's really great, really funny, great personalities, good times. Anyways, I'm Kenny. I'm one of the co-hosts of the CineBoiz podcast. And today I'm joined by 2 out of my 3 other hosts, Mob and Kevin. Mob, Kevin, how are you guys?
Great. Just dandy.
Yeah. You seem it.
That's how I normally seem.
Yeah. All right. Well,
yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, I'm glad you guys are here. Let's do this. We haven't done it in a while. Maybe we should talk about what we're big on.
I'm nervous because I have a feeling Mob and I are going to have the same thing, and I don't have a backup.
No, I'm going to let you have that one.
Okay. Well,
even though I don't know what I'm big on, so go to Kevin
All right.
first.
Well, we're going to start with Kevin then. So, Kevin, let me ask you this: what are you big on?
I'm a reading boy. I read.
Book
I know
boy.
how to read. My favorite. It started out as a trilogy, the Red Rising trilogy. We've touched on it before. Kenny, I believe you're working through it right now. Yeah.
I read this one.
Ooh.
Oh, that's the best one.
That's
I've heard the
wildest
third
one.
one's the best one, but
They're all the best.
They're all
really-
great, but
They're all awesome.
after having just reread both those, I like the second one better than the third one.
There's so much action.
I'm
in
not
that
very
one.
far
Makes
into
me want to
this
run through a
movie.
brick wall. Oof.
okay, cool stuff.
So
I really
good.
like
Just
the
you
first
wait.
one. The first one had so many twists. It was
First
great.
one's
The-
phenomenal. Oh,
the
you think the
second
first
one
one
is-
had twists?
The first one's different than the others because that one's kind of Hunger Gamesy, just in the way it's set up.
Yeah, that's
This
what it
one's
felt
just the world explodes. And anyway, I'm big on the Red Rising series. The 6th book just came out of the second trilogy.
Well, it's not a trilogy. The second
I guess it's-
trilogy
yeah,
is
it's a-
4 books.
Yeah, idiot.
I guess it was originally meant to be a trilogy. Now it's gonna be 4 books. He's splitting the last book up into 2 books.
So it's still a trilogy.
Still a trilogy, just with kind of how Harry Potter was 7 movies, but with 8 movies. You know how that
And,
goes.
like,
7
how
books, 8
Dune-
movies.
Dune is
Yeah.
going to make the movies of Dune is going to be 3 movies now, which I don't know if we've talked about that. Maybe we'll talk about it
No,
today.
we haven't.
But it's based
But-
off of 2 of the books. Anyways,
Yeah.
continue.
All good news. But I've been reading. I like to
Or
read now.
like how we are getting Fast 10 Part 2.
And
Oh,
3.
God. Anyway,
So
If
Fast
you
10
haven't-
is a trilogy.
yeah, yes, correct. The worst trilogy ever made. So yeah, I don't really have I think it's my favorite book series ever. I'm a simple-minded fellow. I like things that move quickly and there's lots of violence and death and twists and turns, and it holds my attention because I have the attention of a snail. Do snails
Yeah.
have good attention spans? Probably not.
I don't know.
Anyway, it came out on last week sometime, and I've been staying up too late every night reading. I fell asleep reading last night because I'm dedicated. And
That's my thing with reading is if I'm really tired, it's not happening.
no,
Like,
yeah,
I'll
it's
sit there
hard.
and I'll stare at the page, or in my case, the Kindle, and
Mm.
I'm physically reading words. My brain is not
Yeah.
understanding what I'm reading.
So a little life hack it's not even a life hack. It's just a way to spend more money. Sometimes if I'm really invested in a book, I'll buy the audiobook and the book, and I'll read the book as the audiobook is playing to me. So it makes me read. And I don't know. It's because I'm probably because I, again, have the attention span of a goldfish and I just can't
Yeah.
concentrate on anything. It's like, oh, I wonder what's up on Twitter right now. I better check that after every page. So
Yeah, I found that with reading, what helps me is that after I read like a chapter of something or a portion of a book, I look for a YouTube explanation of that chapter or portion. Because like I always am like, I think
That's
I
funny.
understand. It's more for like really heavy books, but like I
Yeah.
think I understand what's going on. But maybe like somebody like explaining it to me will help a little bit more. And
So
I
I'm
think it'd be
guessing that helped you with Dune.
helps me with
Yeah.
Dune, helps me with Dune Messiah. It is currently helping me with Children of Dune.
Sounds like
'Cause,
me when I
man,
tried to read Shakespeare in like high school, just reading the Spark Notes after I read every chapter. I didn't read the chapters, I just read the Spark Notes. Who am I kidding?
what I do find though is that I find myself more invested in when I do that with a book. I find myself more invested with it, and it makes me want to revisit it. So I think
Yeah.
so far it's a good thing, but it
You're
could come
gonna
like,
you're gonna find yourself invested in this series. When I read it the first time, I finished the third one, and then the next day I just started rereading the first one again. So I just read it twice in like 3 weeks. It's so good, man. I'm so excited for you. I wish I could read it for the first time again.
I'm excited to do it and go through it
I don't want
again.
to overhype anything, but it's the best thing you'll ever read it or ever will read. So there's
Wow.
that.
Okay, there it is. Well, Kevin, I'm really glad you're here. Thank you for your big on.
Did I stall long enough for Mob to go?
Yeah, I think you gave Mob plenty of time to think of something. So that being said, Casey Mob,
Howdy.
what are you big on, dude?
That was
That was a good.
gets
one.
me every time. I don't know why.
I think the only reason I'm keeping it is because of Kevin's reaction every time. It
Howdy.
makes me so happy.
It gets me. I don't know.
I
Mob
guess
knows where my funny bone is, and he likes to touch it.
You heard it here first.
All right. I'm just gonna say I'm big on dad jokes.
Nice.
That's
we've
good.
been kicking them around the office lately, and
Yeah, Mob's back in the office. How's that
and-
feel?
Office Mob.
it's nice to be around people. I'm not gonna lie. I found myself being like that awkward kid at school, like the new kid
Got to
from
remember
school
how to
is-
interact.
He
Yeah.
was homeschooled and he came in, and so he's trying to connect with the people, but like
love
he'll
that.
say something and everyone just looks at him like, what? Yeah, that's me.
You're reacclimating to society.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's been 5 years.
I'm not doing well, but I'm also not doing well.
Right. It's a process.
Anyway, yeah, dad jokes. So what is a kidnapper's favorite kind of shoe?
K-Swiss.
White Vans.
There it is.
There it is.
Good one.
Does K-Swiss still exist?
Hope not.
I don't know.
Did anyone ever own a pair of K-Swiss?
I did
No,
not.
you're a specific kind of kid who had K-Swiss.
Yeah.
The website's still up.
Hey,
I would
you know
assume
what?
it's still around.
please
I think
explain
we
to me
all-
what the specific kind of kid who wore K-Swiss was.
I don't know, man. His name was Shane. That's all I know. Shane, if you're listening, what you up to, buddy?
So
How you doing?
just real quick tangent on shoes. I need to ask you guys an honest question because let me show you. I have this pair of New Balances, which I think are great and they're really comfortable and they look cool, but I want to get your opinion. So hang on.
If you're listening to this in podcast form, we apologize. Oh, a fresh foam. Yeah.
Okay.
Good for you.
So there's a story here. So the reason I show you those shoes, what do you just raw thoughts? What do you think of those shoes? Those are Crocs.
There's a cat behind you.
What's up? She's like, what the fuck, dude?
Thoughts on those shoes? They look comfortable. What?
Yeah.
Do they look? So
They look like normal shoes to me.
okay, cool. So that's
I'm
what
guessing
I
this
thought.
is a shot at your partner.
No, it's not at all. This has
Oh.
nothing to do with my wife. It has to do with my wife's family, extended family. So
Oh.
I was in Denver last week, and I was
know what they're
wearing
talking
these.
about.
Yeah, I was wearing these shoes, and my sister-in-law's husband's niece is living with them, and she's great.
That's
we love
too
her.
many steps away already. I'm lost. I'm out.
Yeah, it's. I had to think about it for a second. So she's fantastic. I doubt she's listening, but if you are, Abby, you're the best. But she saw me wearing these New Balances, and she had said like, "You give off really like a lot of dad energy with those shoes." And I was like,
I mean, that's probably true.
"Really?" I thought
I
these
mean, New
shoes were
Balance is
cool.
Well, okay. Here's
I
the
mean,
thing.
what we think is cool is not what teenagers are going to think is cool, brother.
That's fair.
Well, also,
I mean, New
as
Balance.
kind of the shoe guy in the group.
Oh yeah, sneakerhead mob here. I mean,
they're
New
fine
Balance
shoes.
is what they are.
They're not
Yeah.
like what you're gonna wear if you're looking to be cool.
They're not cool shoes, but if you're a mid,
But I wouldn't say they're
that's just
dad
looking to
energy.
be
Yeah, no,
comfortable.
that's my thing. It's like I don't think they're like I didn't buy them because I was like, oh, these shoes are cool. I bought them because they're comfortable. Which,
Right.
as I'm saying this out loud, sounds very like a dad reasoning. That being said, I didn't get shoes that looked like I have like a picture in my head of what a dad shoe looks like,
and they're
this
New
is not it.
Balances.
Yeah,
but
right.
there's this.
True.
Okay, well,
But it's
here's
not
the
those.
problem though. Our version of dad shoe is not what the youth's version of dad shoe is anymore. We're dad aged now,
Okay,
which is
so
unfortunate.
I'm
So
just
things
gonna
that we
pull
wear are
up.
going to be dadded out a little bit.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Like I got some Hokas. They don't look cool, but man, I'm walking on a cloud.
Yeah, but like, see, that's so. These are in the same vein. What Kenny
It's
has
comfort.
are in the
It's
same
comfort.
vein as Hokas. It's what you wear when you're trying to walk around or you're standing around. And like, I have a pair of Asics that I do that for. I would rather have Hokas or even what Kenny has, but like, they're not like so. What Kenny has pulled up the top left.
It's the
that's
Nike,
a dad shoe.
Yeah, the Nike. What are those? Those white Nikes.
Yeah. Well,
Monarchs. The Monarchs
New
are
Balance.
dad shoe.
This
That's
is
a dad shoe.
That's a dad
And I
shoe.
think that's actually an updated version of a dad shoe to like
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
children would call dad shoes today.
Yeah, I agree. That's where I'm at with it. So sorry, that was a weird tangent. It has nothing to do with what I'm big on, but I felt like it was just something that I needed to share and be bring to a group and honestly just get affirmation.
No, you're not.
No,
I'm
you're
still
fine.
cool.
That's
How
not
old
what
is
that
How old is she?
Abby, I believe, is either 18 or 19.
I mean,
So
I don't know.
She's
I
cool.
guarantee you, there's kids
Okay.
walking around that are 18 wearing New Balance shoes.
Right.
So-
But they're probably wearing them like,
Yeah.
what's the word? Ironically,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're wearing
Hipster-like.
Kenny shoes. Ironically,
not
No, these aren't.
Kenny shoes aren't dad shoes.
Thank
that's
you.
what I'm
Okay.
saying.
That's all I need.
That's confirmation.
Bye, Kenny. Wow.
Wow.
Now
okay.
it's just you and me.
Now.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
That was weird.
Wowza.
We're still recording. Everything looks good. I must have hit a button. So sorry, guys. Anyways, yeah. So again, not what I'm big on. They're not dad shoes though. We've come to a conclusion on that.
Consensus. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, can I share what I'm big on?
Sure.
Please.
Do it.
Okay. It's actually what I'm not big on. And I think this is,
Classic mob move.
Yeah, it's what I'm not big on right now, and it just needs to be talked about because it feels like right now it's reaching like pandemic levels of being an issue. And that is people pulling out their phones and either filming or taking a picture of the movie screen in a movie theater. This is happening so much. Somebody did
Far
it
too often.
Somebody did it, and when I saw Barbie last week, they pulled out their phone, they took a picture, and they left the flash on, so everybody saw it. And the manager had to come in and basically say, like, cut that shit out. But if you go on like Twitter, and
There's
the
so
majority of
many.
my Twitter feed is mostly movie TV related because
And
I'm just on the
Chiefs.
CineBoiz Twitter most of the time, and Chiefs
Mhm.
football, but. And there's so many pictures of people or so many posts of people taking videos of Oppenheimer or Barbie, taking pictures of Oppenheimer and Barbie and posting it on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. And it makes me so
Don't get
mad.
me started on Elon. Anyway, yeah, I think this is just a perfect example of, younger generation just not growing up necessarily with they just have technology and they're so used to it, and
Without discipline.
yeah, every part of their lives is online, and so they're just, I don't know. People seem to have less self-awareness in public spaces nowadays, and I think it's definitely gotten worse since 2020.
Yeah.
But you're right. The only time I think it's funny is if someone's in the front row and they send a picture of the distorted screen and it's like Alan from Barbie movie and his head's like 10 times bigger than his waist. That's funny stuff.
There
Give
is
me
that
but
video of the guy who saw Oppenheimer in IMAX and sat in the very front row, and it looks super distorted.
I'm cool with that. But yeah, there's people that are taking that because it happened to me in Oppenheimer. The guy's flash didn't go off, but he probably took 6 pictures throughout the movie, and I was sitting behind him, so his screen was just on, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude.
So what's the point? Is it to say like, hey, here's proof I was at Oppenheimer? Like, I don't get it. And I saw a reel the other day of like someone who was in Oppenheimer, and they recorded the portion of when the bomb, like they hit the bomb, goes off, and they put a fart noise in there, and it's like, look, I like fart and poop jokes more than anyone probably, but come on.
Yeah, I just want to, just put it out there, put that energy in the world where like I'm just not standing for that shit. And if I see it, like, shout out. But anytime I see it, I'm going to report it. And Alamo makes it really easy to report anonymously. So shout out to Alamo for how they do that. But
if it weren't anonymous, would you report it?
No, because I have a really bad need.
Is it like a number you text or something like that?
No, so it's actually whenever you have a table at Alamo Draft House, and you have
like a morphine pen that you just click.
That'd be cool. You just have these cards that you write, like you can write your order on during the movie, so like people aren't talking, like you literally just put it, and there's a button you press and a red light comes on, so like your servers see that you're in need of something, and the red light isn't like bright enough to distract anybody else, so it's kind of cool system. But you can also like write a complaint, like if somebody's talking or if like somebody's like got their phone out, you can do the same thing, write a complaint, say, hey, this guy 3 seats down is being an asshole, and then they'll take care of it. No, so they have a whole system, so it's really great. But it's going to get reported. If you're in the theater with me, be on the lookout. If you see me, this is a no phone zone. So
yeah, it was jarring for me to see 2 movies that were full back to back.
Yeah,
full theaters, I should say, because I go to movies almost never where there's more than like 5 people in the theater.
Yeah.
So the fact that I had to deal with others around me was kind of like, what are they doing in my theater? That kind of thing. Get off my lawn. But I will tell the story that I told these guys already. There were some major issues with Barbie.
Yeah, let's
theater mix up.
Let's do our Barbenheimer weekend memories. Let's just talk about it. Kevin, go for it, man.
So I saw Oppenheimer on Friday, and that went off without a hitch. And then my wife and I went to go see Barbie on Saturday morning, and we bought our tickets in advance because we didn't want to interact with humans. We walk up. The movie's at 10:30. We walk in at like 10:25, and there's no. It says Theater 8, which is one of the big theaters that the theater we're in. And we walk in, and the screen's not even on. Nothing's rolling. And I was like, that's odd. They're usually playing like Maria Menounos whatever stuff. So it starts a couple minutes later. I'm like, all right, here we go. It's like 10:45 and they're still showing commercials. They haven't even gotten to previews yet. So I'm texting the CineBoiz group chat. I'm like, this is capitalist at its finest. We're in the world is ending. I hate all movies. This is the worst. So finally the movie starts at like, I think the movie was supposed to start at 10:30. It starts at like 10:55. And I'm like, all right, finally, here we go. Opening scene, just big explosion. And I was like, ruh-roh, that's not Barbie. So I immediately get up, and about half the theater stands up with me, and they just start walking out. We get out to the front. There's like 3 teenagers working at this entire theater for some reason.
Yeah, sounds right.
Turns out anyone that bought an advance ticket, it was Theater 8. Barbie was actually showing in Theater 1. So we all go into Theater 1. The movie is 30 minutes in. We all stand up again. We're like, hey, that's not great. We're missing a third of the movie here.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to go wait for the next showing, but the next showing was like an hour away. So what they did was they just took a theater that had nobody in it. Some other movie was playing, and they just started showing Barbie in that theater for all the people so it's probably like half a theater's worth. And we had kind of a private screening of Barbie, and everyone in there. There was one lady that was the ringleader, and we were all following her around like puppy dogs, and she was like, I need to talk to somebody because I am here and I'm wearing my Barbie stuff and I'm here to see Barbie and I want to see Barbie. And we were like, yeah, get him.
Yeah.
And it's like this 16-year-old kid's like, I don't know, I'm so sorry. And it was a tough scene. I saw Barbie eventually. I didn't cry. A lot of people in the theater did cry. If someone said I cried, no, I didn't. They're a liar.
So you cried.
No,
I believe it, Mob.
I did not cry.
The way he's so adamant about it makes me feel like he's definitely telling the
If
truth.
anything, my wife cried and I didn't cry.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, see, this doesn't check out.
All right, you caught me. Maybe I had a tear or two. Maybe they welled up in my little boy eyes and they fell down my cheeks.
What's
Fine.
funny about your story, Kevin, is that we did our 3 big things on Barbie. I did that with Tom and his lovely wife Laura. You can check that out as well. They had the same exact experience, which is just
well, they went
shocking.
later that night, and I was like, "How can we do this twice?" Turns out Tom bought tickets in advance as well. So
Yeah.
I
So
think it was
maybe
a Fandango issue more than a.
I don't know.
Well, no, you're definitely right. It was Forum, but
Like, if you've ever, the amount of people who are listening to this who have been to Forum is actually probably higher than
probably high.
probably like 10 of you.
And so you understand that, like, Forum, it's this small little theater, like it's run by teenagers. Like, I'm pretty sure it's actually run by teenagers.
Oh, for sure.
And
to set the scene, it declared bankruptcy a couple years ago, and somehow it's still open. I don't know
it
how
hasn't
that
seen
works.
this much traffic since The Dark Knight Rises. Like,
Yeah,
I feel
2015,
confident in that.
What year was that? 2012.
Yep, 2012.
Yeah.
So it's been a decade.
So it's been a decade.
Maybe Avengers Endgame, maybe, but probably not even then.
And
yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure they were just like, don't know what we're going to do.
It truly,
and honestly, it's one thing to have one movie that you're expecting a lot of people for.
Yeah.
But I don't think Forum's ever had 2 in the same weekend that they were expecting this many people for. So, like, these teenagers are like, what do we do? Like, I just want to get high.
By the time we got out of the movie,
of a teenager.
Yeah. By the time we got out of the movie, it was, like 1 o'clock or 1:30, and it was much better staffed. So I think they didn't anticipate so many people going to morning movies. And when we showed up, it was 3 teenagers. The ticket booth wasn't even open. You had to buy your ticket by the concession stand. That was a disaster.
Yeah.
The whole thing was bad. So,
but it happened again later.
Yeah, that's
that's
the
a
big
good
thing.
point.
Is that it happened more than once. Like, nobody.
The news shift came in and was like, I don't know what to do, and they're already high.
Yeah,
yeah,
they've been getting high all day, like a teenager does. Yeah, well,
Kids in
what
there,
a harrowing experience. I'm glad you survived.
Kenny, which movie did you like better?
Oh man, that's like asking me to choose.
And I'm not asking which is the better movie. I'm asking which should you like better.
That's even a harder question.
I think Oppenheimer's the better movie if you made me answer. But I don't know if I liked it better.
Man, that's a really, really tough question because I feel I'm gonna have to say Barbie, but here's why.
Because Ben Shapiro hated it so much.
No, it has nothing to do with.
I mean,
Ben
that
Shapiro.
helped, honestly, if we're being honest with you.
I mean, it does drive my fury and rage. So it's like, okay, cool. Ben Shapiro hates it. That means honestly, it is like pretty 1-for-1 these days. If Ben Shapiro gets really, really worked up about a movie, usually means I liked it.
Usually means it's going to be awesome.
Barbie,
probably really good.
Yeah.
Glass Onion, Last Jedi, like all those.
What
movies.
could he have? I rember him being mad about Glass Onion, and I was just like, "What could we be mad about here?"
He was mad about
a tweet. Yeah, he sent out a tweet that basically said that the movie's a waste of time because there was like a twist in the middle of it that
and
changed,
the writing
the
was
course
horrible.
Yeah, and it's
because
like,
of the twist.
Dude, have you ever seen like a mystery movie
has a
before?
twist? I love that.
So he's an all-time dork, as Kyle would say. This guy is an all-time loser. Anyways, yeah,
dork is a pretty devastating.
It really is.
But
like,
there's not really a
we were growing
better
up,
description of him.
Yeah, if you just call someone as a dork as an adult, oh boy.
Yeah, it's
roasted.
It's hard to come back from. Luckily, nobody's ever dropped that on me. I will say this to answer your question. I think I'm gonna have to say Barbie, but it's because ultimately There's a lot of things in Barbie that like I kept like. Well, I think the song "I'm Just Ken," I think it just slaps. And seeing as how my name is Ken, like I had it on repeat pretty much all week. So there's no Oppenheimer's soundtrack, is incredible, but there's no song on that soundtrack where I'm like, yeah, I gotta bump this on repeat. So I don't know. I think it's probably Barbie, but it's real close because Oppenheimer is fantastic. Probably if I'm going to set aside my personal opinion on Christopher Nolan movies, because I have a personal favorite, it's not Oppenheimer. But if I set that aside, it is pretty easy to make the argument that Oppenheimer is
it could be his best film,
his best movie.
Yeah.
Better than The Dark Knight, better than, Inception, Dunkirk.
The fact that it was 3 hours and it didn't feel like 3 hours, it is about as good of a review as I can give a movie.
There are a few movies that fit into that category, and it's very hard to fit into that category, and it does it.
I don't know. The Godfather feels long as crap.
It is, but that's one of those ones that I feel is like I can watch over and over. But I'm also, and there's a funny scene in Barbie about that. So like, go see Barbie. Mob, have you seen both of them yet?
I mean, I was in Mexico last weekend.
Yeah,
so
he has probably
I haven't.
either of them.
I haven't gotten a chance to see either of them. The movie theater near us now, like just down the street, which is awesome, does $6 tickets on Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
So we've already planned date nights or Tuesdays, and we're gonna go see movies.
That's great
if we want, which is gonna be great for me. So I want to see Oppenheimer first.
I mean, that's the order.
I have to get that one. Well, it's the order, and like I have to see that one in the theaters. So like if something were to happen to where like I couldn't get to a theater in a while, like I need to make sure I see that.
COVID Part 2.
Yeah, that's.
But fair. I really want to see Barbie just because
Ben Shapiro hated it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys ever think about what would happen if we had like a new outbreak pandemic in like 3 months? I'm pretty sure the world would just be like, screw it. No one cares.
Yeah. Well, I guess it probably depends on the severity of it, but if it's like same level as COVID,
if it's same as last time, I don't think anybody's caring.
I think
even if it is severe, I think people are just like,
I think well, I don't want to.
Maybe we don't venture into that.
What's the doctor on the show think?
What? No, mine is just based off of human reaction. I think it would drive the country apart even further.
Oh, I don't follow your logic, but okay.
I didn't mean to set us down this path. Let's keep going about movies.
It would be bad.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm excited. I'm excited for you. It's kind of like going back to the book discussion earlier. Like you haven't seen them yet, so I'm excited that you get to see them for the first time. Still, I'm sorry that you had to slum it in Mexico and weren't able to hit a Barbenheimer weekend last weekend. But how was the Scott Stapp concert?
I did not go.
I probably wouldn't either.
Here's the thing. If it were a setup to where I felt like I could have gotten up and left, I would have gone.
Yeah.
But it was in like this arena. I think it was like an acoustic show. And like you had to sit there. And I was like, do I want to sit through an hour and a half of Scott Stapp acoustic?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
So I didn't know.
Anyways, Barbenheimer has come and gone, but you'll always be able to revisit the movies. The weekend, let's just be happy that it happened and not sad that it's gone. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Anyways, there's a lot of other things I kind of wanted to talk about today because it's been a while since we've just kind of talked about what's going on. Guys, we're in the middle of a strike.
Mm-hmm.
Big strike.
Mm-hmm.
WGA, SAG-AFTRA, both striking at the same time. It feels like my gut reaction is, as somebody who is neither in WGA or SAG-AFTRA, I'm like bummed out because
I think we all know who the bad guys in this situation is.
It's typically the guys who are, maybe CEOs of big studios who are extremely greedy,
and just
even though they act like they're not.
The fact that the takeaway from Barbie is going to be, let's make a Mattel cinematic universe. Just run me over with a Prius right now. That's going to be so bad. I don't need Hot Wheels and Polly Pocket with Lena Dunham. I don't need any of that. That's gonna be awful.
Yeah, I don't want to see that at all. I have no desire. There's something special about Greta Gerwig, and she's so smart.
Yeah.
She's such a talented filmmaker.
The takeaway
And
should be give Greta more freedom and money. That
Yeah.
should be the takeaway. But
And
it's
don't
not
put her
gonna
in a
be.
position where she feels like she has to make a sequel to something she doesn't want to
Ugh,
make a sequel to.
I don't
Now,
think she will.
I think she has said like she's only got one in her. Like that was her quote. She's like, I'm not saying I would never do it, but like as of right now, that was the movie I made, and I'm good with it. So if that's the case, just leave it alone. But Warner Brothers has got to get their grubby little hands on them IPs and shit and make more movies.
Well,
So
they can make them and then, put them on the shelf for tax write-offs.
yeah, oh my god, I hate Warner Brothers. It's like it's a twofer because they're a catch-22 because man, I hate the way Warner Brothers does business,
Yeah.
but then they have some of the best like IPs that I care about and I want to watch, like Dune.
And like HBO is just
HBO.
other than The Idol, really good. Even though I haven't
thought you were
seen The
saying
Idol.
Oh yeah, here's the thing. I watched the first episode and got into about 5 minutes of the second episode of The Idol. It is so bad. I was like, I'm done. And they only did 5 episodes, and I'm pretty sure that's all we're ever going to get, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
it
no, it's
is
not coming back.
horrid.
I mean, The Weeknd just is a bad actor.
He's not good, and I love the
Whatever
Weeknd.
his name is now. I don't even know what it is.
Abel Tesfaye.
Abel.
Yeah, he's a fantastic artist, not a good actor. Maybe he can change my mind with something else, but it was
It'd
rough.
be tough to come back from that.
So yeah, I mean, if you don't really know what's going on with the strike, if you're not really up to date or familiar with how things work, essentially different guilds within Hollywood. You have a writers guild, you have an actors guild, you have a producers guild, you have a directors guild. The writers guild and the acting guild are both on strike.
Lollipop Guild.
And a lot of what they're looking to do is, obviously get better wages, fairer pay. The two big things, the big discussions that seem to be, pretty much at the forefront are in regards to residuals when it comes to streaming. So basically, if you're an actor and you show up in a TV show, and then let's say that TV show is played back in syndication on television, you get a certain amount of money every time that episode airs that you're in. With streaming, it's a lot different because they don't really track it. And the other thing is that a lot of these streaming services, other than say like Netflix, aren't very profitable. So actors and writers are not getting paid residuals the way that they typically would. And essentially what they're trying to do is argue that they should in these cases. And then the other big thing is AI. They are trying to put guardrails on AI so that, these studios who would probably take full advantage and probably have already started taking full advantage of AI instead of paying somebody to write a show or star in it. They're trying to make sure that put some guardrails up for that. So
I can't wait till we get a movie that's using AI in something and it's somehow a huge mistake escapes everybody looking over it and there's just like a person with a hand coming out of their shoulder. It's going to be so ridiculous. It's going to happen.
I mean, show me that Fast 10 Part 2 isn't written by AI.
Prove it.
Yeah. Have you guys seen this? Sorry, this is a tangent. Have you seen the what's the new Marvel show that sucks? Can't even think of it.
I have it on. I was going to talk about it. I was going to bring it up.
I'll save it then.
No, you're good. We're definitely going to talk about it because that was going to be the next thing I wanted to talk about was the state of the MCU. But I will say this about the strike. It seems like it's going to go on for a long while. I feel like these studios have a ton of runway, so they're not going to cave to it. A24, although I don't know if you guys read this, A24 already was like, yep, we agree to everything. So A24 is going to continue to make movies, which is great.
It just shows you that it's all about corporate greed because 100%. If a little studio like can do it, then Warner Brothers can freaking do it.
I mean, this is the exact same thing that happens in sports. It's the owners always have the runway because guess what? They have the money.
Right.
So they can sit and they can it costs them less to eat what they're eating as opposed to what the actors and writers who like actually need their salaries.
Yeah.
So it's awful. I hate it. I hate when billionaires like I understand like I don't know how much writers make but with like actors, you're talking about millionaires versus billionaires, and people
Right.
are like, yeah, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, but you enjoy what they make, so like you can't complain and say just everyone get back to work. That's not how this works.
Right.
Like,
I forget who it was. I think a good point to make is that somebody who's like I forget. It might have been like Robert Downey Jr. or somebody. Somebody was talking about like the strike, and he was like honest. He was like, "Look, I'm fine. It doesn't matter to me as
right.
far as like
Yeah.
what happens or like how this is structured because I'll be fine. Like I'm famous. Basically, I have all this stuff going for me. But the reason I'm striking is because of all of the people who are part of our, guild or union who essentially like aren't famous or like aren't, making a lot of money and this is their job. Like, so because my first reaction, if I'm being really honest, when I see like all of these like rich and famous celebrities in a picket line, I'm just like, this doesn't look good. Like that's like my first reaction is like this just seems very like out of touch. And then you hear somebody explain it like that, and it's like, okay,
Yeah, they're not
that
doing it
makes
for
a ton of
themselves.
sense.
Yeah,
Right.
this isn't like the out of touch you get in award shows when they're talking
Right.
about, or like hearing Tom Cruise go off saying people need us. Like this isn't that. This is like if we worked in a organization where like our CEO was making billions of dollars and we're getting paid what we're getting paid right now, and like they're not doing even the cost of living increase for your bonuses or whatever. That's what this is. It's the same thing for anyone else who's at any other job. It's just this is Hollywood, so it gets more, more attention, and people just think it's actors being greedy. But
all right, well, here's what I'll just say to
Bob
kind of
Iger being greedy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bob Iger, just pay your people. Like I know you listen to our podcast, so just like listen and just pay some people.
Bro, your
It's not
studio
hard.
dropped 150 million on Haunted Mansion. Maybe don't.
Maybe the worst preview trailer I've ever seen in my entire life.
Maybe don't.
I've debated because yes, Haunted Mansion did come out this weekend, and I do typically write reviews for Cork Bats. And this weekend I was like, I probably need to go see Haunted Mansion so I can write a review for Cork Bats. And then I was just like, you know what?
Just
No.
why, though? Yeah.
Nope, I'm not going.
No
I'm going to go
reason.
live my life. And Austin, you can fire me if you want. But there will be no review for Haunted Mansion on Cork Bats.
I mean, people are clamoring for it. Again, $150 million budget, and they're projecting it to make like 20 to 30 million this weekend. So
they put out numbers for Blue Beetle. Warner Brothers did. I don't know how much they spent making the movie.
Who's that for?
But they're saying that the projection of income or projection of box office is going to be somewhere between $20 and $50 million, which is abysmal. And that's not opening weekend. That's entire run. I feel like I had this thought the other day, and it kind of goes into the strike a little bit, but I feel like we're in an entertainment bubble. Like I feel like something is about to give to where like we're going to lose streamers. Streamers are going to go away. Well, not all of them, but like I think Peacock's going to be
Peacock's in big trouble.
I don't think we're going to have Peacock after the next year. I think there's going to be a few others that go away, and then people are going to have to reorganize. And I think that we're going to stop getting so much shit all the time. So you mentioned Secret Invasion, and I'm glad you brought it up because that was going to be my segue into the state of the MCU. And it could be not just the MCU, but just like like superhero movies.
Well, just
in
the fact
general.
that Warner Brothers thought the Flash was going to be like their next Dark Knight is so damning of executives and what they think people want versus what we actually want, and just I don't know, they're so disconnected. I feel like from reality in a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
I don't know. They just don't have a pulse on the people,
right? And so we're getting constant content from MCU in particular. In MCU for the longest time, up until I'd say probably 2 years ago, was consistent. Like very consistent. Everything they were putting out was, if we're looking at Rotten Tomatoes scores, everything they were putting out was above like 70%
and above,
and then something happened. I think it's just the end of, it
was Endgame. There was like a
Endgame.
pretty definitive ending to a storyline kind of.
No, because
Right?
WandaVision after that was great.
So
Loki, like
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like they're building towards anything like they
right.
were with Endgame.
So
for
I think
sure. No, but
there's
what I'm
mhm,
saying is that there was good stuff after Endgame.
right.
You're
I
not
think
wrong.
it's
Loki
been
was good.
right. I think it's been
Um,
gradual. I don't think it was like an
Yes.
immediate like in-game happened and now we're getting terrible stuff. I think it's been gradual since in-game where the quality and like direction of these movies and TV shows are just terrible.
Well,
Part of it is I
now,
think they chose the multiverse is too big.
Yeah.
It's too. I feel like it's too open ended, and it's such a trendy thing to
but
base your
they're
universe around now. I don't
they're
know.
to the point. They're to the point. I haven't watched Secret Invasion. I
I
don't
haven't either.
honestly plan on
I'm
watching
probably
it.
not going to.
And I actually I know a little bit of what happened, and I'm not upset about it. What I am upset about is that apparently they're to the point where they're kind of messing with what was in Endgame. Like
Right.
they're
Yeah.
changing the canon and the narrative arc of what was an awesome. Like they killed it. They killed it with that phase,
Yeah.
and now they're messing with it. And to me, that's when that you've jumped the shark,
Yeah.
to use a technical term.
So I've got the obviously you can see it, but the season 1 Secret Invasion overall scores 56% for critics, 58% for audience, which is really bad. I haven't watched it either. Everything I've heard though is that it's terrible. And I've gotten to the point where with Marvel stuff, the last thing I saw was Guardians 3, which was good. But again, even with Guardians 3, it's like, where are we going with this?
Well,
What's
and that was capitalizing on kind of the previous era as well. Like, I don't know.
what's the
Yeah.
last Marvel installation that you actually cared about? Not that you like enjoyed, but that you cared about.
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
I think that's it,
Yeah.
and that was
because that was the last like
2 years
really
ago.
really good one.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, just the Amelia Clark arm that I keep seeing is so brutal looking. That alone is keeping me from ever watching this show.
ugh,
I like Amelia Clark. I like you, but
she's great.
just
It's bad, man. And so like it kind of goes back into that bubble discussion of like I think there's an entertainment or content bubble that we're experiencing right now where it's get everything out, make more and more stuff and spend a ton of money, get no return on it. And eventually like that's going to cause issues. So I think what's going to happen, we're going to lose streamers, which I'm not against. But let's narrow it down on streaming. And then I think we're going to lose if we're talking Disney in particular, it goes into other studios too, but we're going to get this eventual slowdown where maybe we're not getting a new, like 4 or 5 MCU properties a year. Maybe we're getting 1 or 2 again, which
well,
I
that's what
think
it
would
was
be
originally,
great.
and that's why people were hungry for it when it came out
Right. They've
because they were
overdone
waiting
it.
6 months or a year in between installations. It's just not
Right.
happening anymore.
So my first like Marvel strike, I'll call it. It wasn't really a strike. It was just a disinterest. Was not necessarily because of the quality of it. I just like at that point, like 2 a year was too much for me.
Yeah.
And then I went back
Mine
and
was-
watched them and I was like, these are good. These are fun. These are entertaining. It built up to what was awesome with Infinity War and Endgame. Like all that stuff was great. But now it's like there's a lot of them and they're bad.
Mine was post Age of Ultron. I kind of like took a break after that. And I think it was just because I wasn't used to having, there was so much you had to watch to build up to that point, even back
Yeah.
then. And now, just thinking like if you never really got into it and you like want to catch up, the amount of content you have to consume is probably, I
I-
don't know, like a full year's worth of
Years,
content if
yeah.
you just
Yeah.
didn't watch anything else.
I think
your
my
normal life.
biggest like gripe is that now you have these TV shows which are like technically 6, 7, 8 hour long movies
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
are important to the timeline.
Yeah.
And so it's like I got to keep up with those too. Like I wish they would keep the timeline with the movies so you know what you're getting into. And then you can still have these shows that add context or storylines that aren't important. Like
Right.
you can miss them. You can still do
Like-
that and it'd be super enjoyable.
Sure.
Like Agent Carter was like not super important to what was going on with Captain America, but it was just like a little side story that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It
you
also
can put
doesn't
like
help that they seem to put all their chips in the Jonathan Majors basket,
Yeah.
and now that's like what
that,
do we
but
do?
I mean, you can't
I'm
blame
not-
them.
No, I'm not
No.
blaming them for that. It's just that doesn't help.
doesn't
like
help.
now
Doesn't help.
they're directionless, and it's like I'm sure they're scrambling and don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen with that? But I don't have high hopes for that.
No.
Them landing it well based off of like the current state of affairs. So yeah, that's I think we'll get an entertainment crash with the strike going on, with the amount of content that we're getting currently. Something's going to give, and I think it's going to be good. Like, it's going to be painful, but in the end, it's going to end up being
Needed.
really good.
I hope so.
So speaking of hopefully really good content, the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie comes out this week. I am, for one, very excited. I think the last time I checked, it has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm hopeful as well.
Yes, I think the talent behind this one is much better than previous entries. I will take a movie made by Seth Rogen over a movie made by Michael Bay any day of the week.
I was just thinking,
Part of
like,
it's the animation style or whatever this. It's not even really animation. What is it? It's like
It's animation.
it's animation.
yeah,
That's the right word.
It's like animated claymation.
yeah.
what
It's
I
like
would-
thank you for not trying to make these real life turtles. You know, like
Yeah.
that's just it's not going to work. What
Although-
was the last one that was it the Michael Bay one with
the Michael Bay movies with the CGI turtles in
Yeah, see,
live
we didn't-
action with Megan Fox as April.
Megan
O'Neil.
Fox. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah, not good.
that Michael Bay and Megan Fox. It worked for him once, and he tried to go back to the well and didn't work again.
Yeah, don't recommend it. I would say the original live action movies are fantastic. Now, is the majority of the internet going to agree with me on that? Probably not. If we're
Majority of this podcast, probably not.
I'm in the boat of, if you're going to make another live action Ninja Turtles movie, bring back the guys in suits. I don't want CGI. I
Agreed.
want it to look like a shitty animatronic suit. That seems real to me. Those turtles seem like real turtles, in my opinion. And then I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine here in Austin about the original, like 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action movie. I don't think it has a good score on Rotten Tomatoes or anything like that. But that movie was kind of dark and kind of cool. So I love the Turtles. I'm excited.
I just
for this
missed
new
the
entry.
Super Nintendo
Oh yes. Well, there's a game.
game.
There's Shredder's Revenge. That's like new, and it's like the old arcade style.
Yeah, what do you call that when you're just walking in a straight line? Whatever that is.
Arcade
Whatever.
style,
I guess I don't know.
or like
man.
beat 'em up. It's a beat 'em up.
Right.
Yeah. I think so. What I think is interesting about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is just Seth Rogen's career arc.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's early Seth Rogen was so annoying to me. Like, I don't know. There was something about him just so annoying. And now we're in a stage where I find him
He's on a
incredibly
roll.
enjoyable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he grew up.
Like, what were some of his recent projects?
Platonic's
Platonic's
Platonic's really good.
The Fablemans.
The
Yeah, he's
Fablemans.
great in
I
Fablemans.
honestly
Yeah.
even liked the Long Shot, which was a few years old. Like, as far as
Oh yeah,
it was
I
a
forgot about that
decent like
movie.
rom com that was
Yeah.
in the style of Seth Rogen.
yeah.
He's one of those guys now that if you attach his name to it, I'm gonna at least think about it, which
Give
is
it a second look. Yeah,
kind of crazy to say
Yeah.
after his middle.
And that's not to say I
middle run.
didn't enjoy some of his early stuff.
No,
too.
like Pineapple Express
yeah,
still
fantastic.
gets me.
Yeah.
Super bad,
So
awesome.
it's
Yeah,
just
but-
it's been a very interesting to where it's like, oh, now as a creative mind, I trust him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think also the thing it's got going for it is just who they have attached to it. Let me pull it up real quick. But obviously the turtles are going to be voiced by teenage kids.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like nobody's ever thought to be like, oh, they're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Let's make them
Let's
teenagers.
let's cast only adults. That's all they've ever done. And now it's like, hey, why don't we actually make them teenagers? Which I think is such a novel idea.
Yeah.
But
Rose Byrne's in it.
Yep. So the
I love
cast
Rose Byrne, man.
is there's a ton of people in it. It's Rose Byrne, John Cena, Hannibal Buress, Seth Rogen, obviously Jackie Chan, Ice Cube, Ayo Edebiri of The Bear,
Posties
Great
in
show.
it? Oh man.
Post Malone, Paul Rudd. Yeah, there's just Maya Rudolph. Like it looks great.
Like how Seth Rogen is.
This feels
playing,
like
look, he's on the screen 6 times right there.
I don't want to put like expectations because they're not this high, but this feels like a Into the Spider-Verse type.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. It does have that same kind of vibe. It's got 45 reviews, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I am very hopeful. I'm excited to see it. I'm also excited that this is just coming with being in your mid 30s, but it's an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, man.
That's great. Thank you so much. We lost Kevin again.
It's okay. He'll be fine.
How do we get him back in here?
I don't know. It says one in the queue.
Oh, it does?
There he is.
There he is.
Hey.
Kevin, you got to stop doing that, man.
I accidentally just closed my tab. No big deal.
No big deal. Yeah. So, yeah, it looks good. I'm excited. So I thought what would be fun today is I know Tom's not here, so we can't get everybody, but I think we should do a little which Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle are you personality quiz and see which turtles we are.
Should we take it for Tom? As a conglomerate, what we think?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Let me get this. So make sure
Who's your guys' favorite?
I
was always a Michelangelo kind of guy.
Yeah, he seems to be the popular answer because
I was a Leonardo guy.
Okay. I was always a Donatello guy. I feel like I was like
you're the brains of the group,
the nerd kind of. I also like purple.
So I was
like Donatello.
My biggest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle was the Game Boy game, and so I rated them based off of what their weapons were.
Mm-hmm.
And Donatello has a freaking stick. Like, what is he doing?
I mean, it's probably not the coolest, but I've always liked the kind of like of it.
Yeah, but Leonardo's got the sword.
Yeah, I know. And those are
I was always into nunchucks.
Though. Nunchucks are cool.
Nunchucks are cool.
Anyway, so yeah, I've got it. Let's do it.
But I would always
we'll answer for Tom also. But what were you gonna say?
I would always play Donatello first because his weapon sucked the most, and so if he died first, I didn't care.
Somebody else. Yeah, it's kind of a smart strategy. I do. Yeah, if we're talking just video games, the arcade game for NES and then Turtles in Time for Super Nintendo, like God, those were such good games.
So much fun.
And there is a new one that's made in the same vein. It looks like it's from Super Nintendo, but it's on, it's on Xbox Game Pass. I know you guys don't have. Well, you might have. I don't know, but it could be fun to play together. Maybe we'll play it on stream. Anyways, let's go through this quiz, and so I'll ask the question. You guys can give me your answers, and then we'll give the answer for Tom. So the first question is: pick a color, and here are the options: sewer gray, pepperoni red, mozzarella tello, which I guess is yellow, and peach. Pick a color.
Who are we doing this for?
You just answer for yourself. I know what I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick out of these options. I'm taking pepperoni red.
I kind of want to say, I don't know.
And you can pick the same one I picked. It's okay.
Give me sewer gray.
Sewer gray.
Why.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for.
All right, you got sewer gray. What would Tom choose?
I think he'd do pepperoni red.
I think so too.
Gosh, it's so predictable. All right, next question. What's your favorite type of art? Is it abstract, cubism, pop art, Renaissance? If I'm going to answer for myself, I'm going to say pop art because I like cool stuff.
I'm going to say
pop art.
You're going to say pop art, Bob? Oh, you're typing what is pop art?
It's not abstract. Freaking give me Renaissance.
I'm going pop art.
I think that's what would Tom say? What was the first thing you said?
I said abstract. I feel like Tom would say Renaissance.
Yeah, I think Tom's a classic.
He's a man. Tom's a man of history as well.
Okay, I gotta remember what order I did these in. Oh well, it doesn't matter. In the whole scheme of things, it doesn't matter. All right, Ken, Mob, Kev, Tom. Okay, cool. What do you do when you're preparing for a mission? Do you meditate? Do you practice your moves? Do you run through the plan again in your head? Or do you relax and grab something to eat?
Relax and grab something to eat.
Yep.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Same.
Tom's running through the plan in his head.
Yes, 100%.
Oh yeah, Tom's thinking it through for sure. Okay, cool. Next question. Pick a hobby. Yoga, reading, cooking. I have no hobbies.
I have no hobbies. If those are the lists, that's my hobby. Is having no hobbies.
I'm gonna say mine out of these is gonna be probably cooking because food.
Tom's
I
would be
would say
reading, I
cooking.
think.
And Tom would be reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom's such a
Tom
nerd.
actually likes
What'd you
to
say
read
yours was,
legitimate
Mom?
books.
Cooking.
Cooking. Okay, cool.
All right, we're all fairly different there.
Yeah, there's some variety here. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the next question. Which of these enemies are you more worried about? Shredder, Krang, Repo Mantis, and Hypnopotamus. I will say, I guess I'm not up to date on all the turtle enemies because I only know Shredder and Krang. Of
I was just
those
thinking,
two,
I only know Shredder that I can think of.
I'm probably going to say Krang because he's like the boss behind the operation. Do you remember watching the cartoon when we were kids?
Yeah.
Do you remember like the brain inside the guy's stomach?
Yeah.
That's Krang.
Okay.
Krang was
I
like,
mean,
I'm still more afraid of Shredder.
I would say Shredder as well because that's the.
okay.
Yeah. I don't even know the last two.
I bet Tom would pick Shredder also.
Shredder's just a sick ass name too. I mean, everything
right.
about that guy's cool.
So, last question. Pick a quote. Well, that was easy. Dude, you got to make it to rehearsal. Oh my gosh. Or, I've always liked Cowabunga. I'm going to say, well, that was easy.
What were the middle two?
Middle two were, dude, you got to make it to rehearsal. And, oh my gosh.
I think I'll go with the last one. What was
I've
the
always
last?
liked Cowabunga.
Yeah. Give me
That was
one.
one of the last lines in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze. So good choice, Kev.
I'm gonna
Seems
do
like a bad choice now.
I'm gonna do dude the rehearsal one.
You got to make it to rehearsal. And then what do we think Tom would do?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think we all did different. All right. So, and then we each get a totally random question. My question is, have you watched the new Barbie movie? There's more. Never mind, guys. We still got 12, or we got a few more to go. Sorry. I thought that was the last question. It wasn't. But here's like the little break in between totally random questions for each of us. Totally random question, Kenny. Have you watched the new Barbie movie? Yes, and I loved it. Question for Mob. Which of these outdoor activities have you done in the past week? Walked my dog?
Yes.
Played on a trampoline?
No.
Ride your bike or scooter?
No.
Went for a run?
No.
Doing exercise in your garden?
No.
Going for walks with your family?
No.
Playing in the garden with mom and dad?
No.
Kicking
What's
a
with
ball?
the garden?
No.
Gymnastics?
No.
Playing in the garden?
No.
What is happening with this
So
garden?
you walked your dog. That's it. Cool. All right, Kevin, here's your random question. Oh,
Okay.
it's the same one. Let's do this one for Kevin.
Random, yeah.
Are you a boy, a girl, or I'd prefer not to say?
Prefer not to say.
Okay. And then for Tom, never mind.
I
It's
bet
gonna be
Tom
the
romped
outdoor one
around
again.
in the garden.
Yeah.
Tom
Well,
does
here's the
have a
thing. This
tomato
website
garden.
that I'm using, I'm pretty sure it's a British website because it asks, like, did you play with mom and dad, not mom and dad? I translated it for Americanese. Okay. Let's go through the rest of these questions. Not too many left. Okay. Pick a pizza topping, pepperoni, mushrooms, extra cheese, anything you're not fussy. I'm going to say pepperoni.
Pepperoni.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
I think that's
what
pretty fair.
Tom would pick too.
I think Tom would pick pepperoni also. I think you're right. All right. Next question. Which of your family members do you find the most annoying? Raphael, Leonardo, Michelangelo. And those are the only options. Oh, well, the fourth option is I like everybody. So is this assuming that we're already Donatello? Who knows? But which of your family members do you find the most annoying?
See, I would
Raphael.
have said Donatello.
I would have said Raphael because I don't like his bad attitude.
I feel like me and Raphael would vibe pretty well together.
I like all my family members.
All right. Kev, which of your
Give
family
me,
members do you find the most annoying?
I don't know. Just give me Michelangelo.
Okay, got it.
I find myself annoying.
All right. I think Tom would say he likes everybody.
Yep.
Okay. Almost done, guys. Pick a type of turtle. Spiny softshell turtle, red-eared slider turtle, ornate box turtle, or no?
I mean, I'm going to say no because that's a hilarious answer.
That's a
No.
great answer.
Give me the slippery red one.
The slider, the red-eared slider turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna take the ornate box turtle because that just reminds me of home. All right. Next question. Well, what kind of turtle would Tom take?
Probably that
Spiny soft
spiky
shell.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What weapon are you best at using? Staff, sword, nunchucks, walking stick. I like how it doesn't have size, which is Raphael's. But okay.
This seems targeted.
Yeah, I want to be best at nunchucks because I think that's the coolest. But
All right. Kevin,
am I
I'm gonna
best
put
at them?
nunchuck.
I don't know.
Well, here's the
Give me
thing.
nunchucks.
Of all of the options, staff, sword, nunchucks, walking stick, there's only one I've ever really held in my hand to begin with, and that's a walking stick. So I'm going to take walking stick.
I am going to say sword.
Okay. And then Tom, what would we think Tom would be good with?
All of the above.
I'll say staff. I feel like I could see Tom wielding a staff pretty well.
Staff. Yeah.
Oh, he wields the staff.
He's a world-class stick man. What best describes your personality? Thoughtful, creative, serious, half daft. Again, I think this is a British website.
Give me half daft because that's just great.
All right, Kevin's half daft. I'm gonna say for me,
Daft.
this sounds like a brag, but I'd say thoughtful. Yeah, I'm gonna say thoughtful. Mom,
What are the
about
other
you?
two?
Thoughtful, creative, serious, half daft. I'm gonna say if I were gonna guess for you, I think I know what the answer is.
I have no idea. I'm
think
trying to
you're
figure out what
serious.
half daft. Yeah.
You think Mob's serious? You don't know
Yeah.
Mob at all.
Every time we hop into the Zoom meeting, Mob is very just like level.
I would describe Mob as more thoughtful than serious.
Okay.
I'll
thoughtful.
take that.
All right.
Yeah,
What
I'm
would
not
we say?
serious.
What would we say Tom is?
Probably
He's
thoughtful.
serious.
Tom is serious in a thoughtful kind of way.
Let's give him serious just to give him
Even
a
though
little
even though
variety.
I don't think he's that serious.
All right, guys. And the last question. Someone tells you your hideout is under attack. What do? Do you rush back and sort it out? Do you find out what the problem is before you do anything? Do you get the other turtles and come up with a plan? Or do you panic and ask someone else to sort it out? I'm just under the microscope, being honest. I'm going to panic and ask somebody else to do it. That's my answer.
I'm probably going to say, what the hell's going on here? So maybe the second one.
So find out what the problem is before you do anything?
Yeah.
Probably getting the turtles together.
Coming up with a plan. Okay. What would Tom do?
What's the most responsible one? Tom would do that one.
He would rush back and sort it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good dude. All right. So that is it. So here we go. Here are the results of our Ninja Turtles personality quiz. For me, actually, no. We'll start with Tom. Tom is Donatello. He's the team scientist and inventor, and he's always coming up with new plans. He wears a purple eye mask, and his weapon is the bow, a kind of staff. Stick man. Yeah. You're always looking after your fellow turtles, finding clever ways to defeat Shredder. Nice. Congratulations, Tom. You are Donatello. Moving on to Kevin. Kevin.
Ruh-roh.
Let me ask you this. Who do you think you are?
I think I'm either Raphael or Michelangelo.
You're neither. You're Splinter. You're not actually a turtle. You're Splinter, the leader of the Ninja Turtles. You're a ninjutsu expert and brilliant strategist. You're full of wise words and good advice, too. Not bad for a mutant rat.
I don't think that's at all true, but I am a rat, so I'll take that.
All right. Moving on to Mob. Mob, who do you think you are?
Oh, Shredder.
Nope, you're not. You're Michelangelo, the least grown up of the turtles. You're always making. You're always get this. You're always making daft jokes. and you usually prefer eating pizza to training. Your weapon of choice is nunchucks, and despite being the joker of the group, you're very useful in a fight. Cowabunga.
Cowabunga, dude.
I would rather eat pizza than work out. So
Yeah.
And here's where it
Ooh,
gets
wow.
really lame. Here's who I am. I'm also Michelangelo. So
Oh, come on.
boom. But that's
I'm
those
gonna
are the
say
results.
it. I think that test is whack.
It's on a
I think that test
website
is-
called Beano.com, which I believe is a British children's website.
Be no gas.
Could be.
No.
But that's it. That's
like a
our
pill, a gas pill, a fart pill.
yeah, it's a Beano or Gas X. Maybe yeah. I'm pretty sure Beano still exists, like the gas pill. So I think you're right. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for today's episode. We went through a lot today. What a jam-packed good time.
Truly.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll say. We are the CineBoiz. We are part of the Cork Bats Podcast Network. Thank you so much. Again, please consider rating, reviewing, subscribing. That goes a long way for us. And just thank you for listening anywhere you get your podcasts. Also, you can find us on youtube.com/corkbats. That's where we have our video podcasts, where you can see all of our handsome faces and see all of our funny expressions. So be sure to subscribe to the Cork Bats YouTube page. Also check out corkbats.com. That's where we put up our movie reviews. Our latest one is of Barbie as well. There's a podcast attached to that one, so I highly recommend it. Probably one of my favorite conversations on Three Big Things, because I had it with Tom and Laura, and it was just a good conversation. It's very interesting to have a female perspective because we never have
We
one.
might need it more often.
Yeah, we should. I was thinking that when we had the conversation, I was like, maybe this would be a good thing for us. So we'll look into that a little bit more.
Maybe it was
So yeah, check that out. Again, corkbats.com for all your favorite Cork Bats content and also movie reviews. And then of course, yeah, I mean, check us out on social media at the CineBoiz, Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, guys, you got anything else you want to say?
I don't think so.
Fire Mo.
Yeah, actually, fire that guy.